is just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome to the exhibition of a much belated stupid people. Today we're going to start with a Twitch streamer who had less followers than me that have been botting their viewership. Now I have spoken quite openly about my disdain towards anyone that view bots their channel. This applies to YouTube with sub purchases. Foodie Beauty did it. She still has a channel, which is impressive. There are people who do it all the time on Kick, because their numbers are massive, yet their payouts are undoubtedly minimal. I don't even stream on Kick, and I make more money than the vast majority of the streamers there. There are some streamers, in fact, who get massive amounts of numbers, still get paid well, but they're still view botting, because it makes their shows look more enticing, alluring, interesting, right? If you have over 100,000 people on a regular watching your content, I promise you, you have to be something special. So no, not a fat sweaty guy and a drug addict roasting Darkside Phil, and vice versa, okay? For this we're going to insert streamer Queen Gloria RP with the following video.
Cropophilia. Shit happens. Hi Chief, hello. Huh? Okay, I will be right back, guys. I'll be right back. I'll just come back in a sec. Are you guys still here? Still here? Oh shit. Internet went out. No, I needed to do a little my OBS was asking me to reset something, and I needed to stop streaming. That's so sad. But I'm back.
Now you may have noticed on the stream, the video that was zoomed in on. That video was showing her app for view botting, which is not ideal. Now when I went and looked at her channel last night, she had less followers than I do, at 3.7k. Her more recent streams didn't really have many viewers at all. So why, for such a small presence like myself, bother to use a view botting app for minimal numbers? Because they're not going to get people to want to go to your content. You need to be something interesting, you need to be something special, you need to stand out. Well, today, on the 20th of March 2025, I went to her channel again, and I couldn't help but notice she's been done for violating Twitch's community guidelines or terms of service. View botting is haram, which is understandable. You shouldn't do it. On YouTube, if you're caught sub-botting or purchasing subs, you will in fact be terminated. I mentioned Foodie Beauty on purpose because she's still not been, yet we know she did. In the case of Queen Gloria, Queen Gloria, did respond to an individual called WizKick on Twitter by saying it was indeed a major slip, and it's actually funny it happened. But let's talk about it then. She later said, "Yesterday a quick Google led me to this website called Doghype, and it turns out anyone can viewbot anyone without their consent for like 60 cents. What the actual F? Is it that easy? I had the thing opened as one of the tabs while I was live streaming and it showed on stream, but I don't and never have viewbotted before. Well, you won't get much of a chance to again if you don't stop." Further claiming, "If anything, this just shows how a noob and clueless I am to the whole thing, and yet I deleted the VOD immediately because I was afraid of, well, this. People thinking I'm a cheat." But you are. You can make the claim that you weren't doing it, but the evidence is very much against you. Now, I do believe in second chances, of course I do, unless you're a nonce. And Dan Clancy has a hard-on for people who cheat the system. So chances are your ban, if you can get into Dan Clancy's good books, will be short-term. You just got to peg him for a bit of fun. Consider that punishment enough. If Hassan Piker has to do it, so do you. The thing with viewbotting is, it's been an ongoing issue for a long time. What really tells that someone is viewbotting is the lack of engagement in their chats if they're live, and of course how much money they make. If you have a genuine audience, people are going to want to stick around and watch you, and promote you, share you about. An organic growth. I know, an idealist am I. Yes, absolutely I am. I would rather be that, open, honest, and do it properly, than cheat my way to the top. It's why it took 7 years for me to earn a YouTube play button, and it's why I want to earn another. I'll never get a gold one, but I may as well try for another silver at least. And if I had the audience on Twitch, yeah, I'd be going for that bloody award as well, but it would take decades to earn one at my rate. And decades closer to a couple centuries. One must know where they are able to prosper, thrive, and succeed. You should not cheat to get there. And you claiming that this is noobness and an accident, you are playing with the website page itself. Don't try us. So next we're going to have to go and look at a video from an individual who made some rather interesting claims concerning political affiliation and customer service. Right? I'm going to put the obligatory disclaimer. I am not a supporter of MAGA, I am not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Liberal, I am not Green, I am very much Meg. English, and I don't give a crap. But I do find it fascinating when I see consequences happening to people in an online space, especially when you post to platforms like TikTok, where people don't abide the rules of the internet. If they did, this would not happen as often as you think. There are two videos. The first is what they had done. The second is the consequence of what they'd done.
So I work at a Mexican restaurant, and last night I had a MAGA table come in, wearing the hat and everything. And I just thought, why are you here? This is not for you. You don't get to enjoy these flavors in this cuisine that comes from a country whose people you're trying to kick out. This is not for you. Go home and eat some unseasoned chicken and green bean casserole like God intended.
Okay, so there are a couple points we have to highlight. Firstly, you're using MAGAs as a derogatory slur against what I would assume to be white people. Yet when you look at the voter turnout and representation of voters in the more recent election, 42% of Latinos, voted for Donald Trump. Apparently, this doesn't work the way you think it works. Second, you are not, nor is anyone, an arbiter of what someone can eat. A white person can go and eat jollof if they want to eat jollof, alright? You, for example, can in fact have plain chicken, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with eating plain chicken. Not everything has to be abused with vast amounts of sauce and condiments. I've often referred to American cuisine as a cultural melting pot, an amalgamation of disappointment, where the lowest common denominator is championed as if it is something amazing. Yet food standards in many other countries are better, and while we don't apply much in the way of spice or sauces to our foods, we don't need to. Go with the derogatory and the insulting, the ad hom with regards to what you think certain demographics eat, right? But at the end of the day, you don't get to be arbiter of what another person chooses to eat, regardless of their political affiliation. Now, that was video number 1. Because of that video, there was a consequence for this individual, and while many will champion it, I will say I don't support it. Because people are allowed to have their own opinions. They really are. As long as they're not trying to enforce them, you're okay. Here's the consequence.
Using this comment to say that the MAGA people got so angered by my video that they're literally trying to hunt me down. Every MAGA person watching this, okay, please listen carefully to my words. I don't work there anymore. I see you guys commenting the location of my job, the address of my job on all of my videos. I see it. I don't work there anymore. Commenting the name of my job. I don't work there anymore. They let me go because of my video, and that's fine. It's a restaurant. I'll get another job.
Now, there are two ways of taking this. Firstly, you can celebrate that somebody lost their job over comments they made in the online space. Or, you could be concerned that because someone lost their job in the online space, because of their comments made in the online space anyway, that this is a damning statement about the state of affairs when it comes to how people behave in the online space and how many people take it too far. I cannot support somebody losing their job over comments they make, because I believe in the freedom to express oneself in any way you like. It's like the Tesla boycotting stuff. That stuff cracks me up right now. There are people who take it very seriously and some who don't. I don't. Because again, I'm happy to watch things burn, but I'm not happy to watch people lose their jobs, their livelihoods, see dealerships torched. I'm not happy to see that. Same applies to people losing their jobs for comments like what she made. It was a dumb thing to say, I agree, and while she can be flippant about getting another job, ultimately it's a dick move, but this is where the rules of the internet differ on differing platforms. I prefer the original ones. Please don't take it real. Unless you intend to get in a boxing ring together and have me laugh at you because neither of you could throw a punch, please don't do it. There is a bit more of this video though that I do want to play before we move on to the next subject, as context is important.
You guys are fucking insane and sick in the fucking head. You get so mad that someone tells you that a certain cuisine isn't for you, that you're gonna try to dox someone and hunt them down at their job and make them and all their coworkers feel unsafe?
Okay, so I don't need to play the rest, because now there's another point we have to interject here with, and that is, while I fully believe in the freedom to express yourself, there is no such thing as freedom of consequence. I don't support the doxing part. I will never support that, nor losing a job over words. However, you were race baiting and you know it. So the however is more focusing on you taking responsibility for the dumb effery that came out of your mouth. Yes, I'm going to hold you accountable as well. You have to be held accountable. I don't think you should lose your job over this, although you don't seem to care, which is actually fine in this respect, because then the employment that you once had, the place of work, will be safer without someone with your poisonous mentality there. It is my firm belief that all cuisine should be open to anyone to try, eat, consume and enjoy. I'm English. One of my very favourite meals is not English. It's Italian, and many people share that. Yet I'm English, so surely I would like shepherd's pie and cottage pie and... Actually, what else do we do? Oh, I like a Sunday roast and a full English, nothing wrong with those. But my favourite meal is Italian. No, not pizza. It's just a matter of fact. People like what they like, right? You are not a gatekeeper nor the arbiter of who can or cannot enjoy your food. And don't forget here, just because someone's MAGA doesn't mean that they do not represent people who are Latina or Latino or Latinx apparently is the other one, is it not? Are we still using that, or can we ditch that one now? So to the final subject, we're going to speak about Dylan Mulvaney, an individual I hadn't really thought about much. They have, though, over the course of the year, so only 3 months so far, popped up here and there. More notably, International Women's Day on a book tour of their own. Many call into question the veracity, the legitimacy of Dylan Mulvaney representing women on International Women's Day because they kind of tokenise, trivialise and cartoonise, caricature what it means to be a woman. But you know what? You do you, boo. They've been more active, more vocal on social media, but their TikTok has taken a bit of a knock. Their more recent TikToks have not done very well in viewership, and that was something I expected to happen last year. This year, though, barely cracking 100,000 views per TikTok from millions in the past. Of course, the Bud Light debacle would have done a lot of the damage, but also help at the same time. On their Instagram, they're equally just as, active, but their viewership is falling off as well. They've been promoting their book called Paper Doll, and they're also now promoting a podcast with a kitschy little music intro promo.
In the shower, on a walk through the Dylan Hour, feeling sweet, feeling sour. I feel nothing. The Dylan Hour.
Yeah, I cringed at that too. Interestingly enough, Brianna Wu, if you remember Brianna through Gamergate, I don't really follow Brianna too much, but sometimes people say something that is correct, even if it comes from a person who is in the past a bit of a hypocrite or contradictory. Brianna had said, Dylan, this is some tough love, trans girl to trans girl. In the 1920s, a genre of deeply racist minstrel films emerged with wildly offensive black stereotypes. You are producing the modern equivalent with women. I was willing to overlook your cringe and frankly sexist TikToks. You were a child, you are not a child anymore. You have talent, please channel it in another way. Now there's a point here. Okay, there's a couple. But there is a point here about you have talent. Dylan does have talent. It cannot be denied. They're very extroverted, very entertaining when they put on a show. 100% they are. But they are really applying this the wrong way. And their TikToks are proof of that. When it comes to the stereotype part, I kind of agree here with Brianna. The modern equivalent of a sexist stereotype for women. There is a point to that. Even if it does come from an individual that has in the past been busted for basically being a contradiction, or a hypocrite because they've hosted streams in entirely pink environments. Does that make sense? Good. For me, Dylan doing a podcast called The Dylan Hour, when I was told about it on Twitch last night, which I thought was Dylan on tour again, and a miswrite from one of my lovely, lovely viewers. Hi. I thought it was a bit cliche, because everyone has a podcast, even I do. Mine's called Not Worth a Cork. It's a whiskey podcast. It's great. Very happy man I am with that, even with my lower audience. Dylan having one makes sense because Dylan can now be a bit more vocal about things that Dylan doesn't like, right? As opposed to the short format, cookie cutter, blech, TikToks. Cool. At the same time, whether Dylan can succeed at this, I have no idea. I get like 10 viewers. I'm just happy anyone turns up, to be honest. Do let me know what you think in the comments, by the way. As we're finished, yes, I'd love to know what you think. I'll also be streaming Ships at Sea, another fishing game, tonight on Twitch. Hope to see you there. If not, have a wonderful day. Thank you all very much for listening. Oh, and follow my Twitter. I've been posting updates with Wizzy Woo on, my dog who had the surgery last week. She's doing a lot better. Ta-ta, everyone.